Hello, brave hearts. This is Mind-Blowing Motive, and today, I want to remind you of something powerful, something that may have been sleeping inside you for too long. Your dreams. Yes, I'm talking about that little voice inside your heart that once whispered, "One day, I'll make it." Maybe life got busy. Maybe people laughed at you. Maybe you stopped believing in yourself, but I want you to pause right now and just ask yourself, what happened to my dream? You see, every great thing in this world started with a dream, a simple idea, a small hope. Someone dared to believe in something that didn't yet exist. They faced rejections, failures, and pain, but they didn't give up, and that made all the difference. But sadly, most people stop dreaming not because they're weak, but because they're tired. Tired of being misunderstood. Tired of the fear. Tired of being told they're not good enough. Slowly, they bury their dreams under doubt and routine. And the worst part? They learn to live without passion. But here's the truth. Your dream didn't die. It's still waiting for you. And it's never too late to chase it again. Maybe you won't get there in one day. But if you don't take that first step now, you'll stay stuck forever. So I'm here to tell you, don't let the world kill your fire. Don't give up just because it's hard. Don't believe those who say it's impossible, because what's truly impossible is living a full life while your heart is empty. This message is for the fighters, the dreamers, the silent believers. And if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Never stop dreaming, because your dream is your direction, your purpose, your true self. Point 1. Dreams are not silly. They are your superpower. How many times have you heard someone say, "Be practical," or "That's just a silly dream"? Maybe it was a teacher, a parent, a friend, or even your own inner voice. But let me tell you something real. Dreams are not silly. They are the most honest part of who you are. They're the truest expression of your heart, your soul, and your deepest hopes. People may not understand them, but that doesn't make them less valuable. The truth is, your dream is your superpower. It's not just a fantasy. It's a direction, a compass that points you toward your best life. And the saddest thing is, most people throw away their power before they even realize they have it. Think about the greatest inventors, creators, leaders, or artists the world has ever known. Were their dreams practical? When the Wright brothers told people they wanted to fly in the sky like birds, everyone laughed. When Walt Disney talked about building a magical place where dreams come alive, people called him crazy. When J.K. Rowling was rejected by a dozen publishers, they didn't see the dream behind her words. But these people weren't driven by logic. They were driven by belief. They refused to believe that their dreams were worthless, even when the world called them foolish. That belief, that stubborn heart that says, "I'll try anyway," that's what makes the difference between living an ordinary life and building an extraordinary one. And you? You have a dream too. Maybe it's not fully shaped. Maybe it scares you. Maybe it's something you keep hidden because you're afraid of being judged. But if that dream makes your heart race, if it brings tears to your eyes when you imagine it, then it's not silly. It's sacred. Don't you dare throw it away just because it doesn't fit into someone else's box. The truth is, most people stop dreaming because they think their dream has to make sense to others. But your dream was never meant for everyone. It was meant for you. You see, when you follow a dream, you don't just chase a goal, you become someone new. You discover strength you never knew you had. You face fears and overcome them. You build skills, grow resilience, and become the kind of person who inspires others. Dreams make you grow. Dreams give you direction. Dreams wake you up in the morning when nothing else can. Without dreams, life becomes dry, routine, empty. But when you live with a dream, even failure feels meaningful. So why do people call dreams silly? Because they're afraid of risk, afraid of change, afraid of what others will say. And it's easier to mock a dream than to chase one. But you were not born to play it small. You were not born to blend in. You were born to rise, to shine, to live with purpose. Your dream is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. It's your call. And if you don't answer it, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what could have been. Let's get even more personal. Maybe your dream is to become a writer, but you think, there are already so many writers. Or you want to be a public speaker, but fear your accent, your background, your story isn't good enough. Maybe you want to start a business, build a school, or become the first in your family to travel the world. And every time you take one step forward, something pulls you back. Doubt, fear, criticism. But deep inside, that little fire still burns, doesn't it? That small voice still whispers, "But what if I could?" And let me tell you, that voice is your real self. That's the version of you that still believes in possibility. You don't have to wait until everything's perfect. You don't need a huge plan or full confidence. You just need one thing: the courage to believe that your dream matters. Start with a small step, one action, one brave choice. Because big dreams are built one small decision at a time. Every hero's journey starts with that first shaky step, and if people laugh at your dream, let them. If they say it's impossible, smile and keep going, because someday they'll see what you saw all along, and even if they never do, it won't matter, because the moment you honor your dream, your life starts to change. You walk differently. You speak with more passion. You feel alive again. So let this be your reminder. Your dream is not silly. It's your superpower. Protect it, feed it, believe in it. Because when you do, you become unstoppable. Point 2. Everyone laughs at dreamers until the dream becomes real. Have you ever noticed something strange? The moment you share a dream, whether it's big or small, people start to laugh. Not always out loud, but you can see it in their eyes. That smirk, that doubt, that condescending tone when they say, "Really? You think you can do that?" It's one of the harshest truths about chasing a dream. People don't take you seriously at the beginning. They laugh. They criticize. They warn you. Not because they truly care, but because your courage makes them uncomfortable. You remind them of the risks they never took, the dreams they buried, the fears they gave into, and instead of being inspired, they attack. But here's where the real magic happens. Those same people change their tone once your dream starts becoming reality. Suddenly, the ones who doubted you say, "I always knew you had it in you." The ones who warned you not to try will say, "You were born for this." But in truth, they didn't believe in you. What they believed in was safety. They believed in the comfort zone. And you threatened that. Dreamers have always been misunderstood. That's part of the journey. Look at history. People laughed at the idea of light bulbs before Edison proved it possible. They mocked the idea of computers in every home. The concept of a phone in your pocket sounded ridiculous just a few decades ago. But where would we be if those dreamers had listened? Where would we be if Steve Jobs had believed he wasn't smart enough? Or if Oprah Winfrey had quit after being told she wasn't made for television? Where would the world be if people stopped dreaming just because someone laughed? Every person who ever did something extraordinary was first called a fool. Society always resists change in the beginning. Dreams represent change. They represent something new, something better, something bold. And anything that challenges the norm makes people uncomfortable. So yes, they will laugh. They'll question your sanity. They'll roll their eyes. But your job is not to convince them. Your job is to keep walking. The problem is, most of us want approval too early. We want everyone to cheer us on from the start. But that's not how real dreams work. When you're building something great, it looks like failure at first. People don't see your vision. They only see what exists now. But visionaries aren't concerned with now. They are focused on what could be. You have to learn to live in that space of belief. You have to be okay with being misunderstood. Because if everyone understands you too quickly, chances are you're not dreaming big enough. And here's another thing. Many people won't laugh because they're evil. They laugh because they're afraid for you. They're afraid you'll get hurt. They're afraid you'll fail and feel broken. But even that fear is based on limitation. They're projecting their own experiences onto your journey. They couldn't do it, so they assume you can't either. But that's where you must stand strong. You must gently, silently say, "Watch me." Not with arrogance, but with quiet fire. Let's get personal. Maybe you told someone you wanted to become an artist, and they said, "There's no money in that." Or you said you wanted to travel the world, and they asked, "How will you afford that?" Maybe you shared a business idea, and they quickly listed all the ways it could fail. These moments sting. They make you doubt. They make you wonder, am I being unrealistic? But here's the truth. You're not unrealistic. You're just unproven. And every success story was once unproven. Think of it like planting a seed. When you first put that seed in the soil, no one sees what it could become. It just looks like dirt. Days, weeks, even months may go by before anything green shows above the surface. But underneath, quiet miracles are happening. Roots are growing. Foundations are being set. Your dream is the same. Just because others can't see it growing doesn't mean it's not alive. You must trust your process, even when it's invisible. The real strength of a dreamer isn't talent. It's patience. It's resilience. It's the decision to keep going even when applause is absent. You have to believe before the world does. You have to clap for yourself when no one else is clapping. That's not ego. That's survival. That's power. And here's a promise. If you keep going, if you stay focused, if you keep showing up, one day, the same people who laughed at you will ask for your advice. They'll call you inspiring. They'll post about you. They'll tell your story like they were part of it all along. But don't do it for that. Don't chase your dream to prove them wrong. Chase it to prove yourself right. Because this journey isn't about revenge. It's about becoming. And becoming requires isolation, effort, failure, and faith. There's a beautiful moment in every dreamer's life when the laughter turns into silence. That silence is powerful. It means you've gone too far to be ignored. And then comes the moment of recognition, when they can no longer deny your growth, your success, your vision. But by then, you'll realize you didn't need their validation anyway. You'll see that the journey itself was the reward. the sleepless nights, the lonely days, the small wins, the setbacks, all of it built you into someone stronger, wiser, and bolder. So if you're in that phase right now, where people are laughing, doubting, or ignoring you, take heart. You're exactly where many legends once stood. You're walking the path of greatness. It's lonely now, but one day it'll be unforgettable. Let their laughter be the background noise to your focus. Let their doubt be the wind behind your determination. And when your dream becomes real, because it will, you'll look back and thank yourself for never giving up. Because in the end, they always laugh until the dream becomes real. And when it does, they'll stop laughing. They'll start listening. Point 3. Failure doesn't mean your dream is over. It's part of the path. There's a heartbreaking moment that happens to almost every dreamer. It's the moment when things don't go as planned, when your efforts feel wasted, when you fall flat on your face, and the world watches. That moment is called failure, and if you don't understand it, it can feel like the end. But today, let's break a big lie that the world has taught us. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the road that leads to it. The journey toward a dream is not straight. It's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes brutally hard. You start off with hope, with excitement, with big plans. You give your heart, your time, your energy. But then life hits back. Maybe you lose money. Maybe you don't get chosen. Maybe people reject your idea, or you make a mistake, and suddenly you start thinking, maybe I'm not meant for this. That thought is dangerous. That's the moment when most people quit. But you must understand, failure is not the enemy. Giving up is. Let's talk about Thomas Edison. Do you know how many times he failed while trying to invent the light bulb? Over 1,000 times. When a reporter asked him how it felt to fail so many times, Edison replied, "I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work." That's the mindset of a dreamer. A real dreamer doesn't see failure as defeat. They see it as data. Every mistake teaches something. Every fall builds muscle. Every setback prepares you for something bigger. It's easy to celebrate success. It's easy to smile when everything goes right. But what really shapes your character is what you do when everything goes wrong. Do you run? Do you hide? Or do you get back up with scars on your knees and fire in your eyes, ready to try again? That decision, right there, is what separates dreamers from quitters. And in this world, we don't need more quitters. We need more people who rise again. Failure also exposes something else. It reveals your why. When you hit rock bottom and still feel that burning desire to try again, that's when you know your dream is real. If you can walk away from it after the first fall, maybe it wasn't your dream. But if it haunts you in your sleep, pulls you back when you're distracted, whispers to you even when you're hurt, then it's not just a dream. It's your calling. Some of the most iconic success stories come with brutal beginnings. Did you know that Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he built? Did you know that Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television? Did you know that the author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, was jobless, divorced, and living on welfare when her book was rejected by multiple publishers? These people didn't rise because they never failed. They rose because they refused to stay in failure. Think about a mountain climber. The first few steps are easy, but the higher you go, the harder it gets. The air gets thinner. Your legs get tired. You might slip and fall. But do climbers turn around and go home after the first stumble? They adjust, they breathe, they find a new grip, and they keep going. Because the view at the top is only for those who endure the climb. Your dream is the same. The fall doesn't define you. The climb does. And here's something most people never say out loud. Sometimes you'll fail even when you do everything right. Life isn't always fair. Sometimes the timing is off. Sometimes the opportunity isn't ready for you. Or maybe you're not ready for it yet. And that's okay. Because real failure only happens when you let it harden your heart, when you let it stop you from trying again. But if you can look failure in the face and say, "You hurt me, but you didn't end me," then you've already won. Let me take you deeper for a moment. Failure doesn't just build character, it reveals it. In your most painful moments, you'll learn who you are. You'll discover how strong, how patient, how determined you can be. You'll learn to silence the noise, to ignore the judgment, to trust your own voice again. That growth is priceless. It may not look like success on the outside, but inside, you're being transformed. One day, someone will look at your story and say, "You're so lucky." But they won't know about the nights you cried, the moments you wanted to quit, the times you questioned your worth. They'll see the result, not the road. But you'll know. You'll remember the rejections, the pain, the lonely work, and you'll smile because you didn't let it break you. Now let's talk about mindset. Failure only has the power you give it. If you let it define you, it will. If you let it teach you, it will. What most people do wrong is they take failure personally. They think, "I failed, so I'm a failure." But those are two very different things. Failing at something doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you were brave enough to try. That's more than most people can say. Don't measure your journey by how fast you succeed. Measure it by how many times you're willing to try again. Success is not about speed. It's about staying power. About how long you can stay in the game, even when it hurts. About how deeply you believe in your purpose, even when the results aren't showing yet. Let's be real. Failure hurts. It breaks your confidence. It makes you want to hide. It makes you feel embarrassed, ashamed, maybe even worthless. But those are temporary emotions. They don't define your identity. You get to choose what comes next. You can stay down, or you can rise up stronger. And every time you rise, you become harder to break. Sometimes failure is life's way of redirecting you. Maybe your path needed to shift. Maybe you were chasing the right dream but the wrong approach. Or maybe you weren't ready for what you asked for. That's not rejection. It's preparation. Life isn't saying no forever. Sometimes it's saying not yet. Can you trust that? Can you be patient? Can you hold your dream gently and keep nurturing it, even when no one else sees what you're doing? You're not the only one who's failed. You won't be the last. But you can be one of the few who turn failure into fuel, who say, "This setback is not the end. It's the beginning of a new version of me." You are allowed to feel broken. You are allowed to rest, but you're not allowed to quit. Not if your dream still lives, not if that fire still flickers, even a little. Because here's the truth. The path to your dream is paved with broken pieces, false starts, and painful lessons. That's how it's supposed to be. The dream isn't just the destination, it's the transformation. Who you become in the process is just as important as what you achieve. So the next time you fall, I want you to remember this. You're not weak. You're learning. You're growing. You're being shaped into the kind of person who can handle the dream you asked for. And if you keep going, if you just keep showing up, you'll get there. Failure doesn't mean your dream is over. It just means your story has more pages to turn. Keep turning. Point 4. Protect your dream from negative voices. In this world, one of the hardest things is not dreaming big. It's protecting that dream from the noise around you. You can have a beautiful vision inside your heart. You can feel it so clearly that it makes your eyes light up. But the moment you speak it out loud, it feels like the world is waiting to question, criticize, judge, and slowly break that dream apart. It starts with just one sentence. That's not realistic. Or maybe, who do you think you are? These sentences may seem small, but they carry weight. And if you're not strong enough, that weight can crush your dream before it even gets a chance to grow. Dreams are fragile in the beginning. Just like a small seed needs the right environment to grow, your dream needs the right atmosphere, a place of belief, encouragement, and protection. That means you need to be careful who you share your dream with. Not everyone deserves access to it. Not everyone will understand it. And truthfully, not everyone wants to see you rise. Negative voices come in many forms. Sometimes it's your family telling you to play it safe. Sometimes it's friends who joke about your goals. Sometimes it's society screaming that you're too late, too old, too poor, or too unqualified. And sometimes the loudest negative voice isn't outside at all. It's inside your own head. That inner critic that whispers, "You'll fail. Don't try. You're not enough." That voice, it's a liar, and you must learn how to fight it. Protecting your dream doesn't mean isolating yourself completely. It means choosing your circle carefully. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who remind you of your worth, who push you to keep going when you feel like giving up. These people are rare, but they exist. And when you find even one person who believes in your dream the way you do, hold on to them. They are your light when the world gets dark. But what if you don't have that kind of support? What if you're alone? Then you become your own biggest supporter. You become the voice of belief in your own life. Every morning, you look in the mirror and say, "I'm not there yet, but I will be." Every night before you sleep, you remind yourself why you started. And every time the world tries to pull you down, you rise with more fire, more strength, more belief. People will always have opinions. They'll say it out of jealousy, fear, or ignorance. But you have to remember, no one knows your heart the way you do. They didn't see your sleepless nights. They didn't hear your silent prayers. They don't carry the weight of your dreams. So why give them the power to decide what you can or cannot do? Let me share a real truth with you. Many people don't want you to succeed because your success reminds them of their own failures. Your growth exposes their stagnation. Your courage makes them feel small. And instead of changing themselves, they'll try to stop you. They'll throw negativity your way, not because you're wrong, but because you're brave. And that scares them. But you can't dim your light just because others are uncomfortable with your shine. One of the biggest mistakes dreamers make is seeking approval from the wrong people. You don't need everyone to understand your dream. You only need to understand it yourself. Don't waste your energy trying to convince people. Use that energy to build, to improve, to rise. Let your success speak for you. Let your actions do the talking. And remember, the dream doesn't need applause in the beginning. It needs protection. You protect your dream by feeding it daily. You read books that inspire you. You listen to voices that empower you. You take small steps forward even when no one's watching. You build habits that align with your vision. And most importantly, you stop giving attention to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Here's something powerful. You don't have to explain your dream to people who don't see your value. You owe them nothing. Not an explanation, not a defense, not a reply. Your time and energy are sacred. Spend them on building, not arguing. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. And then, let your results do the talking. Negative voices also come from your past. Maybe you failed before. Maybe someone you trusted betrayed you. Maybe you've been carrying the weight of those painful words for years. You're not smart enough. You'll never make it. Stay in your lane. But listen, those voices were wrong. They don't define you. They don't own your story. You have the power to rewrite it, starting today. It's okay to outgrow people who no longer support your vision. It's okay to leave behind conversations that drain your spirit. You're not selfish for protecting your peace. You're wise. Every minute you spend defending your dream to a negative person is a minute you could have spent making progress. Choose wisely. Think of your dream as a baby. Would you hand your newborn to someone careless, someone who doesn't care if it falls or cries? Of course not. So why hand your dream, the most vulnerable, beautiful part of your heart, to someone who doesn't treat it with love and care? Be selective. Be intentional. And never apologize for that. Sometimes the dream feels heavy because you're carrying other people's doubts with it. You've collected their voices, their fears, their insults, and they've become bricks in your backpack. But it's time to let those go. Drop the weight. Walk lighter. Walk stronger. This is your path, not theirs. And even when negativity comes from someone close like family, it doesn't mean they're evil. It just means they don't see the full picture. Forgive them, but don't follow their fear. Respect their opinion, but don't make it your truth. Love them, but love yourself enough to move forward anyway. Here's something else. Sometimes the world goes silent, not because they're watching you fail, but because they're waiting to see if you'll keep going. And that silence can feel like rejection, but you must protect your dream in the quiet too. Even when no one claps, even when no one asks how you're doing. That's where self-belief becomes everything. You don't need a stage to practice your art. You don't need fans to start creating. You don't need fame to start building. All you need is that fire inside, the one that says, "I'm not giving up." Protect that fire. Feed it. Guard it with your life. Because if you let the world blow it out, you'll lose the one thing that made you alive in the first place. So the next time someone mocks your dream, smile gently and say nothing. Keep working. Keep moving. Let them say what they want. But don't let their words become your reality. Because one day, you'll look back and thank yourself for not giving them the final say. Your dream is your responsibility. It's your gift. And it's your mission to protect it from negativity, doubt, and fear. Let the world talk. You've got bigger things to build. Point 5. The world changes because someone refused to stop dreaming. Take a look around you, the phone in your hand, the light above your head, the car on the street, the music in your ear, the books you love, the apps you use, the technology that surrounds your everyday life. All of it exists because someone, somewhere, refused to stop dreaming. They had an idea, a wild one, one that probably sounded ridiculous at first, but they didn't stop. They didn't give up. And because of that, the world changed. This is the power of a dream that's protected, nourished, and followed through with action. The world isn't shaped by people who play it safe. It's shaped by those who dare to believe in something bigger than themselves. And if you think your dream is too small to matter, think again. Every great change started with a thought, a spark, an idea that wouldn't go away. So never underestimate your dream, no matter how unimportant it seems right now, because you never know how far it can go, who it can touch, or how deeply it can change someone else's life. History remembers dreamers, not because they always succeeded on the first try, but because they never gave up. Think about Martin Luther King Jr. His dream wasn't just a speech, it was a revolution. He stood for justice when it was dangerous to do so. He had a vision of a world where people were treated equally, and he fought for it with his voice, his courage, and his life. That dream shook a nation and inspired generations. Think about Malala Yousafzai, a young girl who dreamed that all girls should be able to go to school. Even after being shot for speaking out, she didn't stop. She kept going. Her dream became a global movement. Or think about Elon Musk, laughed at for wanting to colonize Mars or build electric cars. Yet today, his dreams are changing how we think about transportation, energy, and the future. What do all these people have in common? They were told their dreams were impossible. They were discouraged, mocked, threatened. But still, they believed. They dreamed anyway. And the world is different now because of them. Here's what most people don't realize. Your dream doesn't need to be world famous to be world changing. You don't have to be a celebrity or a billionaire to make an impact. Maybe your dream is to build a small school in your village. Maybe it's to write a book that helps just one person heal. Maybe you want to be the first person in your family to graduate or to open a bakery that brings joy to your neighborhood. Whatever it is, your dream matters. And when you pursue it with love, passion, and persistence, it becomes a ripple in the ocean. That ripple touches others. And those ripples, they turn into waves. One person with a dream can shift an entire generation. Because a dreamer does more than create. They inspire. They awaken sleeping hearts. They show others what's possible. They remind people that life doesn't have to be ordinary. And that reminder alone is powerful. That spark can light fires in others that you may never even see. The world desperately needs more dreamers. Not just people who wish, but people who work towards something meaningful. People who are willing to try, fail, cry, and rise again. Dreamers are the ones who fight for better schools, cleaner air, deeper love, stronger communities, and peaceful nations. Without them, the world goes numb. Progress stops. Hope dies. So ask yourself, what kind of world do you want to leave behind? What kind of story do you want your life to tell? Will it be a story of I could've but didn't? Or will it be a story of I believed and I tried no matter what? You have that choice every day, to keep dreaming or to stop. And if you stop, you don't just lose your dream, you lose your direction, your voice, your unique gift. Maybe your dream is still young. Maybe it's fragile, uncertain, incomplete. That's okay. All great dreams begin that way. But you must be willing to nurture it, water it, walk with it, even when it walks slow. Because in time, that tiny seed of vision will grow into something you never imagined. Let's be honest. It's not always easy. Dreaming is not just visualizing. It's doing. It's hard work, long nights, sleepless worries, rejections, sacrifices. But on the other side of all that pain, there is purpose. And once you taste the joy of bringing your dream to life, you'll understand why the struggle was worth it. There will be days when it feels like nothing's happening. You'll question if you're on the right path. You'll see others succeed while you're still stuck. But don't be fooled. Slow progress is still progress, and your journey isn't theirs. The dreamer's path is lonely sometimes, but it's sacred, because every step you take brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. And here's the most beautiful part. When you follow your dream, you give others permission to follow theirs. You become living proof that it's possible. You become someone else's reason not to quit. And that is a legacy worth fighting for. So today, if you're holding on to a dream, no matter how small, strange, or impossible it feels, don't let it go. Don't let fear have the final word. Don't let comfort steal your future. Don't let the world convince you that you're foolish. Because you are not foolish. You are brave. You are visionary. You are necessary. This world doesn't change because of those who settle. It changes because of those who dare. Those who fall and rise. Those who cry and try again. Those who walk into the unknown with nothing but faith in their hearts. Be one of them. Be the dreamer who doesn't stop. Because someday, someone will look at you and say, "The world is better because you didn't quit." Thank you so much for staying with me on this journey today. Remember, your dreams are not just wishes. They are the blueprint of your future, the spark that can light up your life and the world around you. No matter how hard the road gets, no matter how many times you stumble, never stop believing in yourself and never stop dreaming. Your dreams are worth fighting for. Keep nurturing them, keep protecting them, and keep pushing forward every single day. Here at Mind-Blowing Motive, we believe in your power to create, to change, and to inspire. So if this message touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.